Hello everyone and welcome. Imagine holding a piece of titanium in your hand. It looks simple, smooth, solid, and metallic. But that small piece of metal may have started as a mineral buried in the earth, passed through chemical reactors and vacuum systems, emerged as a strange porous material called titanium sponge, and finally become part of an aircraft, medical implant, spacecraft, or high-performance machine. And here's the surprising question. If titanium is relatively abundant in the Earth's crust, why is producing titanium metal so difficult and expensive? The answer begins with chemistry. Titanium doesn't naturally want to exist as free metal. It forms strong bonds with oxygen and other elements, so separating it from its minerals is much harder than simply mining it and melting it. In a sense, manufacturers have to convince titanium to let go. And that journey starts in the mine. From ore to titanium-rich material. Titanium is mainly obtained from minerals such as ilmenite and rutile. These minerals can be found in mineral sands and hard rock deposits. But the material coming from a mine isn't a block of titanium waiting to be melted. It's a mixture of valuable titanium minerals, sand, rock, and other materials. So the first job is concentration. The ore may be crushed, screened, washed, and separated using physical processing techniques. The goal is to increase the concentration of titanium-bearing minerals while removing unwanted material. But this is only preparation. We're still nowhere near titanium metal. And remember, abundant doesn't mean easily available. The real challenge is freeing titanium from the chemical compounds that hold it so tightly. That's where the story takes a surprising detour. The chemical detour. Instead of extracting pure titanium directly, manufacturers first convert it into a chemical called titanium tetrachloride, or TCl4. The concentrated titanium material is reacted with chlorine at high temperature, with carbon involved in the reaction. The titanium becomes titanium tetrachloride. It sounds strange. We're trying to make titanium metal, yet we've deliberately turned it into a chemical compound. But that's exactly the point. Titanium tetrachloride can be purified much more effectively than titanium can be extracted directly from the original ore. The crude titanium tetrachloride therefore undergoes purification, commonly through distillation, producing a much cleaner chemical feedstock. Now the titanium is ready for the most important stage of conventional production. Chasing purity. The Kroll process. Imagine a large industrial reactor operating under carefully controlled conditions. Inside is purified titanium tetrachloride. The objective is simple: remove the chlorine and leave the titanium behind. But titanium doesn't willingly give itself up. It has to be persuaded. Molten magnesium reacts with the titanium tetrachloride, removing the chlorine and producing magnesium chloride while titanium is left behind. And what forms isn't a shiny titanium bar. Instead, imagine a rough, porous, silvery gray mass. This is titanium sponge. The name sounds unusual, but its appearance makes sense. The material is irregular and porous, nothing like the smooth titanium products we see in finished applications. This is the result of the Kroll process, named after metallurgist William J. Kroll. But there's another problem. The titanium sponge isn't completely clean. Residual magnesium and magnesium chloride remain associated with it, so the sponge must be purified again. Vacuum distillation can remove these unwanted materials, leaving much purer titanium sponge. The titanium has finally been separated from the original mineral. But a pile of sponge isn't ready for an aircraft or medical implant. It still has to become dense, reliable metal. From sponge to solid metal. The purified sponge is crushed into smaller pieces and carefully blended. If an alloy is required, elements such as aluminum or vanadium can be added in controlled quantities. Then comes melting. And titanium creates another challenge. At high temperatures, it can react with oxygen, nitrogen, and other contaminants. These impurities can significantly affect its properties. So titanium requires specialized melting equipment and carefully controlled environments. Vacuum melting and vacuum arc remelting are important technologies used to produce high-quality titanium ingots. Now the strange porous sponge has become a dense metallic ingot. But the ingot is still only the beginning, shaping titanium for the real world. The titanium ingot can be forged, rolled, extruded, machined, or processed in other ways to create useful components. It can become aerospace plates, mechanical parts, chemical processing equipment, or carefully engineered medical components. But shaping titanium isn't simply about changing its appearance. The way titanium is heated, deformed, and cooled can influence its microstructure and mechanical properties. That means manufacturers carefully control temperature, processing conditions, and heat treatment to achieve the performance required by the final application. And after all that work, there's one final question. Did we actually make the titanium correctly? Proving the metal. Before titanium reaches a critical application, it must pass rigorous quality checks. Manufacturers examine its chemical composition and mechanical properties. They inspect dimensions and surface quality, and depending on the application, may use specialized inspection methods to identify internal defects. For aerospace and medical applications, these requirements can be extremely demanding. The reason is simple. Once titanium becomes part of an aircraft, spacecraft, medical device, or critical industrial component, almost right isn't good enough. The material has to meet precise specifications. So why is titanium expensive? Now we can answer the question from the beginning. Titanium is relatively abundant, but producing useful titanium metal requires a long and complicated chain of operations. The minerals must be concentrated. Titanium must be converted into titanium tetrachloride. That chemical must be purified. The titanium then has to be extracted through the Kroll process, purified again, melted under controlled conditions, processed into useful shapes, and rigorously tested. Every stage requires energy, specialized equipment, technical expertise, and careful process control. So the real challenge isn't finding titanium. It's producing titanium that is pure enough, consistent enough, and reliable enough for demanding applications. From Earth to advanced material. Now look at the entire journey. A titanium-bearing mineral begins in the Earth. It is concentrated, chemically converted, purified, and reduced through the Kroll process. It becomes titanium sponge. The sponge is purified, blended, melted, and transformed into a solid ingot. That ingot is then shaped into the components used by modern industry. And that's what makes titanium so fascinating. A finished titanium component may look simple: a smooth plate, a medical implant, or an aerospace part. But behind it is a remarkable story of mining, chemistry, heat, vacuum, metallurgy, and precision engineering. Titanium had to be separated. It had to be purified. It had to be persuaded to let go of the elements it naturally bonds with. And finally, it had to be engineered into a material capable of performing in some of the world's most demanding environments. So the next time you see a titanium component, remember, it didn't simply come out of the ground as titanium. It had to be transformed. And that transformation is the real secret behind this extraordinary metal. If you enjoyed this journey inside the making of titanium, subscribe for more stories about how the world's most important materials are produced. Thanks for listening.